Hi everyone. Today we're going to learn how to create a modern house in Blender. So double click it. Looks like this. If there's something already here, feel free to delete it. Let's make a new file and save it before we even start. File save. Well, to make a file new, this is how you do it. General, file new general. But if it's already blank, file save. Select documents. If you don't have a folder with your name on it, select the new folder button. Call it your name. I already have one, so after you type your name, press enter. To go inside the folder, double click. Notice how you're in documents, then your folder. Let's call it house. Let's call it house. Save Blender file. Click it once. When you click it once, it kind of adds that .blend extension, which is important, and save. Let's begin. Object mode. We're just going to use Blender as usual. We're not going to use the CAD Sketcher plugins we've been previously using. Add mesh cube. Again, to navigate, the scroll wheel zooms. If you click on the scroll wheel, it rotates. So actually press down on the scroll wheel in the middle. You can also hold the shift key down and press down the scroll wheel, and that pans. Or if you can't remember these shortcuts, you can drag the hand around to move. And you can also hover over this area here. It kind of looks like a little gray circle, and you can rotate that way as well. So pan using the hand, rotate using this. But you can also use the scroll wheel, press it down to rotate, hold the shift, and press the scroll wheel to pan, and the scroll wheel zooms when you scroll it. Alright, navigation is pretty important in this program. And one last thing is orthographic perspective. This is perspective mode. Notice how it kind of goes towards a focal point, or the vantage point. And if you click this, it has no vantage point. This orthographic mode that looks consistent and parallel is preferred when you're making 3D models. It looks more, it shows you more accuracy. Alright, before we begin, let's change a setting. Edit, Preferences. Under Navigation, click that Orbit Around selection so that whatever you have selected, it'll orbit around that object. It's just helpful when you're orbiting and rotating around things. Also, if the button, there's a lot of settings to mess around with, but that's it. It saves by itself. Alright, to break this cube into sections, this is how you do it. You press tab on the keyboard. I'm sorry, let's go back. So press tab. When you press tab, it goes to edit mode. Notice how these little black dots show up on the edges. And now we're going to just start slicing it. To slice it, you'd press Control R. When you press Control R and you move your mouse around, it kind of is waiting for you to click and select what plane you would like it to be sliced on. So that is a plane, this is a plane, let's just do this one. So click, and now it's waiting for you to move it around and then to finalize what you want. So I'm just going to do it in the middle. Click again, and now you just sliced all the way around. Let's slice it again. Control R. Let's do it over here. Move it around. Click. Control R. Wait for it to be like this. Click. Move it around. Click. Control R. And then right there. Click. And then click. So now we have 8 cubes. Let's just do one more. Control R and then over here. Right there. Alright, we have 16 cubes. To select them, to start like It's called extruding. We're going to push out these things, like actually extend the blocks. So click here under edit mode. It's this button here. It's called face select. And you can click on faces. You can click on multiple faces by holding the shift key down. Click away to deselect. So I'm going to click on the corner here. After I select it, press E and extrude. And then click to solidify. Let's rotate. Click to select. There's 3 different selection tools. You can select the points, the edge, or the face. We're doing the face right now. So click on it, E on the keyboard, move it. Click E. Click E. Click E. So there you go. And now let's start doing some other things. All right, you can subdivide it after the fact. Like, let's just say you want to subdivide this one. You just go to Control R again. Click. Click. So, and then notice how it went to that one. So let's switch it back. Select E. So you can always go back and do it whenever you want. Let's try something else. Press A on the keyboard to select all of it. Right click anywhere. Subdivide. Notice how it all branched out into smaller. This is a way to subdivide it without having to manually do it. Click away. So notice how all these subdivisions here. Let's try something a little different. Let's select more than one. Let's just hold. You can draw a box as well. So if you want to like rotate like this, just draw like a box so that those 4 are selected. And then E. And then that's like an overhang. Let's do this. Let's make a custom cut here. Let's do Control R, and let's move it, click it there, and let's move it like this. And now let's rotate, draw a box to select those 4. Oh, click away. Draw a box. Oh, it's on edge. Let's go to face mode, draw a box, and move it into place. E. We'll worry about aligning things later. We're just practicing today. So that's pretty much it. You can make a whole huge structure with this. And feel free to play around with the navigation mode. If you don't prefer the orbit, see how whatever is selected, it orbits around that section. Feel free to go edit preferences and change that orbit around selection under navigation if you don't prefer, if you don't like the way that does it. So it's just a different way of navigating. Alright, and again, the shift and pressing down on the scroll wheel is a really good shortcut. Let's save it. File save. And we already saved it in the beginning, so when we click save, it went to that location. If you close this program, or this, let's just say you close it, the Blender. If you to open a file, you go to File, Open, and it should be under Documents, your name, and then if you double click the file, it should open it. That's how you make a structure using subdivisions, and how you manage the preferences to orbit and navigation, as well as saving files.